right? But he was speaking in Russian, and when he said the word body, because it said body, he said corpus. So I said, wait a minute, that's Latin for a body. So where did the Russian language come from, for the most part? It was a romantic language, man. You see? So you see how languages are built upon?
This is the book of Acts 2 and 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Jump down to the 8th verse. And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? Parthians and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers of Mesopotamia and in Judea and Cappadocia and Pontus and Asia. This is Asia Minor. Around the so-called East Indians, you had Israelites among the East Indians. You had Israelites among the Medes and the Parthians. Ishmael. It says Phrygia and Pamphylia in Egypt. You had Israelites in Egypt, the Alexandrian Jews. And in the parts of Libya, which is in North Africa, about Cyrene, which is also North Africa, and strangers of Rome. You had Israelites in Rome. What's that? Europe. It says, and proselytes. Jews and proselytes, because you had Israelites that knew they were Israelites, and you had Israelites that came back or converted to Yahushua, the teachings of Yahushua. Cretes, which is an island of Crete, and Arabians. You had Israelites among them Arabs. We do hear them speak in our tongue the wonderful works of the Most High. So you had Israelites all throughout there. And there's another scripture in Romans, I believe it's the 15th chapter or the 16th chapter. Let me get that real quick just to show you. Romans 15 and just bear with me 1 second here. Yeah, I believe it's the 15th chapter. If I can't find it, then I'll look on the concordance, but I believe it's the 15th chapter.
What book you read at?
Romans.
What does it say?
It speaks about how Paul went to Spain.
Does it mention the word Spain?
Yeah, it mentions the word Spain. Let me just give me 1 second. Let me just.
It's in Acts 15, right?
I believe it's in Romans 15 or Romans 16. Yeah, Romans 15:24. It says, whensoever I take my journey into Spain, I will come to you, for I trust to see you in my journey and to be brought on my way thitherward by you. If first I be somewhat filled with your company. But now I go into Jerusalem to minister unto the saints, for it hath pleased them of Macedonia and Achaia to make a certain contribution for the poor saints which are at Jerusalem. If it hath pleased them verily, and their debtors they are. For if the Gentiles, Israelite foreigners, have been made partakers of their spiritual things, their duty is also to minister unto them the carnal things. Wherefore, when therefore I have performed this, and have sealed to them the fruit, I will come by you into Spain. So where's Spain? Spain's in Europe. The thing about it is, you guys, you say that, somebody said they're from Europe, automatically, they're just a cracker. Crackers didn't own Europe. The Edomites didn't own Europe. Europe was first owned by Japhet, dark-skinned Japhetic people. Then you had Israelites that went up there, and they were in those regions. The Moors.
The Moors took that whole region over, man. And Moors, Jake, they like to pop women, man. So they were doing a lot of that's in the movie True Romance, man. True Romance. When he spoke about the Moors, he spoke about the Moors. It was that guy, the actor Dennis Hopper was talking to Christopher Walken about his son. Christian Slater, which was he played the role of what's his name, Clarence Hurley. Yeah. Clarence Hurley, and he said he knew he was going to die, so he said, "Let me lay on these Sicilians that they're really niggas."
I read a lot. especially about things, about history. I find that shit fascinating. Here's a fact, I don't know whether you know or not. Sicilians were spawned by niggers.
Come again?
No, it's a fact. Yeah. You see, Sicilians have black blood pumping through their hearts. And no, if you don't believe me, you can look it up. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, you see, the Moors conquered Sicily, and the Moors are niggers. See, way back then, Sicilians were like wops from northern Italy. They all had blonde hair and blue eyes. But, well, then the Moors moved in there and, well, they changed the whole country. They did so much fucking with Sicilian women, huh? That they changed the whole bloodline forever. That's why blonde hair and blue eyes became black hair and dark skin. You know, it's absolutely amazing to me to think that to this day, hundreds of years later, that Sicilians still carry that nigger gene. Now this, I'm quoting history. It's written. It's a fact. It's written.
I love this guy.
No. Your ancestors are niggers. Hey. Yeah. And your great-great-great-great-grandmother fucked a nigger. Oh, yeah. And she had a half-nigger kid. Now, if that's a fact, tell me, am I lying? 'Cause you're part eggplant.
And he said, I do a lot of reading, I read a lot of history, blah, blah, blah. I find that shit fascinating. He said, let me have one of your Chesterfields. You know, so he started smoking. And he basically ran it down to him how the Moors went down there into Sicily. And he said they did so much effing that they changed the whole bloodline, man. Right. He said forever. He said that's why blonde hair and blue eyes became dark hair and brown skin. And then he said, how did he say it? He said, your grandmother got popped by a Moor, by a nigger, and you had a half nigger kid. And then he said, so what does that make you? He said, you, my friend, are a eggplant. And then Christopher Walken said, and you are a cantaloupe. Then he shot him. And then the guy said, what did he say in Italian? He said, the guy called the boss a nigger, and he shot him.
Che succede?
I turisti che tutti i siciliani sono neri e dove gente su marzo.
You know? So they show you that in that movie, man. You know?
Got something to add to you. Sardinia, which is located in Italy.
South of, yep.
Yeah.
That's where a bodybuilder by the name of Christopher, what's his name? Colombo.
Franco Colombo. Khan.
And that dude is dark as hell, and he come from Sardinia, which he had to be. He's a Jake.
Right.
There was a conscription of soldiers, Jewish soldiers, that were sent down there by one of the emperors. I believe it was a number 4,000. They were actually 4,000 Jewish soldiers were actually stationed there by one of the emperors. I forgot which emperor.
And what do soldiers do when they go down there? The first thing they want to get, they want to relax.
get
With
laid.
who? With a woman.
Yeah, want to get laid.
Anytime you watch a World War II or World War I movie, and you had what's this movie called Santa Ana? And then you had a movie called The Reds or The Red Tails,
Right.
which was a good movie. I didn't think it was going to be a good movie because this guy made it, the cracker, and he had all those Jakes in there. And what was those Jakes doing? They were meeting them Italian women, man.
And yeah, popping them.
And they would fall in love with them and marrying them. And some of them, a lot of these soldiers, U.S. soldiers, they get stationed in Germany, and you know what they wind up doing? They'll find like a German woman, and they'll live out there. They'll stay out there, man.
That's right.
You know, they feel so relaxed that they stay. Because a lot of those trumpeters and musicians, I said trumpet musicians, went to Europe, and they felt so accepted that they wound up living out there.
Yeah,
one, what's this guy?
Miles Davis.
Miles Davis was one, and what's the other guy?
Coltrane.
Coltrane, but what's the other guy? Quincy
Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones. He went out there. He went out there to France, and he wound up staying out there for a while, man.
Right.
Habba's still out there. He's in
Italy.
Milano, Italy, man. A lot of those Jakes, but they don't tell you that, man.
Oh,
They go out into
basketball
Europe,
player,
huh?
Kobe Bryant. He speaks fluent.
That's right.
Italian.
That's right. Because he was right. He was right. His father was out there playing for the European leagues in Italy, man.
Con. Yeah. Getting back to
So
Sardinia.
for you guys to look at a guy and say that's an Edomite, that's
Right.
a Jake, and that's a Hamite, you can't say that, man.
That's right.
The angels got to do that, man.
Yeah.
That's why you guys are stuck on stupid when it comes to Cornelius thing, man. Here it is, 2016, and you got guys out there still teaching that Cornelius is an Edomite. You haven't grown, man.
Yeah, the scriptures speak about growing in the knowledge and the grace of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They haven't grown. Yeah. Oh, now what I was going to say about Sardinia is, and you'll see it, the flag of Sardinia is it's called the Four Moors. All right, and it shows, as you're watching it on screen, it shows the heads of the four Moors. Okay, and you can't get a white man out of that. All right, no way, no how.
Oh, I was gonna hold this, but I'm gonna bring it out anyway. Everybody saw the movie Gladiator, right? Yep. And I said this before, years ago. I'm gonna bring it straight out, and I got the archaeology to prove it, and the icons.
I became Caesar.
Remember the
I've known 4
king,
years without war.
Commodus?
4
Not
years
Commodus.
of peace in
Marcus
my
Aurelius,
life. For what?
which was the emperor, the Caesar.
Gone,
Remember his son Commodus?
gone.
Well,
I brought
Marcus
the sword.
Aurelius, which was the Caesar
more.
at that time, around about
Caesar,
181.
your life, please.
When you watch the opening of the movie, they tell you, I think the date was, they had the war against the Germanic tribes,
Gone,
all right?
gone.
And the Picts and so forth. That was the opening scene